Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Let's now take you through the front pages of the papers. And joining us this morning is the publisher of the niche newspaper, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi. I wanted to say our favorites, but if I say favorites
the
now,
other analysts
they will
are
now
watching.
come and, he's one of, all our analysts are favorites.
Oh,
so
but you can speak
one of our
personally.
favorites.
For me, he is a living legend. I say it with
That's
my full
safe.
chest.
You're on the safety net.
It's so good to have you here, sir.
Welcome,
And compliments of the season to you.
Only my pleasure. I've not seen you in the last 2 weeks. The last time I was here.
Well, I was just touring around the world, from Dubai to Qatar. See, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, how did you cope when you came back into Nigeria? From the airport, there's a certain
I mean,
heaviness.
he still has that soberness. He has not fully adjusted.
Yes, I
Yes, he's
noticed.
still giving
You can
IJGB.
see.
I noticed.
He just got back. The Americanness is still in him.
Guys, let's move.
Yeah, what's
But
fun?
you, there's a quiet bomb in you.
Our first paper is This Nigeria.
That's our Daily Independent.
Very independent. Very independent.
So, on the front page of the Daily Independent, the big story there, airlines justify sky-high fares amid public backlash. And I need to check what the justification of that,
Yeah, the details.
the details. So, inflation drops for 8 consecutive months to 14.5%. And then we have reps intervene in Dangote NMDPRA rift. I didn't say South should produce president in 2027, El Rufai says. Wow. How coalition built with Buhari removes sitting president by Tinubu. To battle terrorism, federal government procures MRAP vehicles and armored fleet. Tinubu vows to protect Nigerians and crush security threats. Yes, alleged 2.2 billion naira fraud Ngige to spend 4 more days in prison. Okay, so let's quick.
I think we should take that Ngige story.
How can we miss this top left corner? Supreme Court rules president can declare
Oh yes, that's one of the
emergency
biggest stories.
and suspend elected officials.
It's a no-brainer. It's there in the Constitution. So,
Yeah, so anyway, let's start with maybe actually I wanted to start with the reps intervening in Dangote and NMDPRA fraud.
Okay.
How rifts, before I call it fraud. How important is it for the reps? What role do they play? Who should be is there a prima facie case here that should lead to an investigation? What should have been the next steps?
Olive, I think this issue of the Dangote refinery and Farouk rift, if you ask me, I think it is a distraction. Let's go to the main issues of the day, that the Supreme Court of Nigeria sat yesterday and gave a ruling that the president has the powers to remove
And suspend elected officials.
or to suspend elected officials. It is, many people don't realize the implication of whether it is, some lawyers have said that the Supreme Court, having also stated that they don't have jurisdiction in that case, and therefore that matter should have been dismissed at that level. But for them to also go ahead and give what some lawyers now are calling opinion rather than judgment. But then this is a 7-man panel of the Supreme Court, and 6 ruled that the president has the powers to suspend, whether they said it is for a limited time or not. And there is a minority judgment given by Justice Obunya Obande. Now, what the Supreme Court did yesterday was to dramatically alter the power balance in this country, and it won't augur well. We now have the judiciary actively endangering Nigeria's democracy. Let us even remove President Bola Tinubu out of the equation. Let us even assume, without conceding, that he's by any stretch of imagination a Democrat. He is not. But let us even assume that he is, and that he can abide in a play by the rules. Can you imagine if somebody comes in tomorrow who will not play by the rules? That same person could wake up in the morning and sack the National Assembly. And do you now see why opposition governors are trooping to APC? Because, look, even when the president did what he did in Rivers State, and don't mind you, Section 305 is unambiguous. It gives the president the powers to declare a state of emergency. And a state of emergency presupposes a situation where the state no longer has the capacity to deal with the issues at hand, and therefore they need federal access, whether it is security, military, or otherwise. That is why, even in the US, there is a state of emergency almost every day. When there is a natural disaster, when there is a hurricane, when there is this thing.
The president sends the National Guard, yes.
The president, the state of emergency is declared, and federal assets are brought in to deal with a situation which is considered beyond the control of the state. And therefore, you see National Guard, which is ordinarily under the control of the state governors in the US, but you see FBI, you see everybody coming in order to use the federal access to control the situation at hand. And after that, everybody moves on. But here in Nigeria, we are reducing state of emergency to security issues and other. But even at that, what happened in Rivers State? Was it last year or even this year?
This year.
This year.
Was basically a political issue. There was no security issue in Rivers State to warrant what was declared as state of emergency.
They said they blew up one pipeline.
That's who did?
You didn't see it.
Who did? Where was the pipeline that was blown? In any case, states like Zamfara, states like Borno, states like Niger, states like Katsina, where 20 local governments have signed a memorandum of understanding with bandits and are ruling the state in conjunction with bandits. You've not declared a state of emergency.
Or even Lagos during the NSAS, for example.
On security. It is Rivers State. So what was done in Rivers State was purely a political issue, because what was at stake was who controls the levers of power in Rivers. There was a battle between Nyesom Wike, the former governor, who incidentally is the FCT minister, and his political protege, Sim
Fubara.
Fubara. So it was a political issue. And the president came in, declared a state of emergency on the flimsy excuse that a pipeline was, an oil pipeline was attacked. Now, the implication is that when you give the president unfettered powers to determine what in the first instance should constitute a security threat or should warrant a state of emergency, and because you said the Constitution is silent on the extent of powers of the president in deciding what to do, and you are granting him the powers to suspend, even when you came with a caveat, limited period of time. Look, that was not the intention of the framers of the 1999 Constitution. And nobody can convince me, I'm not a lawyer, but nobody can convince me that the framers of the 1999 Constitution intended to give the president so much power that will make every other person, including the governors of states, to be subservient to the powers of the president.
Elected officials.
And they are elected officials.
Now, what we have is that we have people at the state level who look up to the president to remain in office, who look up to the president to take any decision. We have mere house boys as state governors. And if the president could wake up in the morning as he did, suspend a state governor for 6 months and appoint a sole administrator, not elected by the people, to superintend over the affairs of a state, then we are in real trouble. Now, the judiciary that ought to give meaning and interpret and help us in rolling back these dictatorial tendencies that we are seeing on display every day. The judiciary seems to be siding effectively with the president.
Right.
I'm afraid with the way we are going, if this democracy, this Fourth Republic, comes to any kind of danger, the judiciary
Will be held.
Will be the first culprit, because they have enabled, in no small measure, to the situation we are in today.
It's very scary.
And Nigerians need to be worried.
It is very scary because, again, what this has, and we're not talking about a high court, this is a Supreme Court that has ruled that the president has powers to remove elected officials.
Court, yeah.
You know, so what happens when they're not pleased or they're not impressed with, and it's scary because now the government is moving towards, the country has been accused of moving towards a one-party state. So it feels like everything has been set in over-centralizing power in the hands of the center. Why
wouldn't the governors join APC? No, for crying out loud.
If you don't align, I declare it.
All of us were there. What was Fubara's crime in the first place? Why was the state of emergency declared in Rivers State? What was his crime? That he was suspended for 6 months and nobody did anything about it. Now, how can you blame Fubara when he now says that, in fact, it was the president that saved him?
And then he's singing national anthem, singing the president's
praise. He's now the #1 praise singer of the president.
Really.
Let's move on. Let's move on to another paper very quickly. Let's go to This Nigeria. Though you've touched on it already.
The major story, yes.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. This Nigeria doesn't have so much for us to look into.
I mean, look at that story itself. Judiciary must guard credibility ahead of 2027.
Yeah, let's go to Vanguard.
Polls, says CJN, and I'm wondering which exactly what are the.
I want us to go to Vanguard very quickly. There's a story there. It says interagency rivalry to blame for bandit allegation. Kwara government officials.
I don't understand.
Interagency rivalry. Terrorism sponsor, ex-governor Bafarawa carpets Bello Toji. Let's look at that back and forth. The most
Bello
wanted criminal, Bello Toji, made a video addressing that they get support from the government. And then we're having back and forth from...
he mentioned names.
Mentioned names. And yet we've not seen any security
and why is this still a
agency swing into action.
It all boils down to what I said earlier, that where the government was supposed to declare state of emergency, they stayed away. Now, is it not a shame? Is it not a shame that one man called Bello Toji is in Nigeria, terrorizing the entire nation, putting it on video, and mocking us every day to do our worst. And we are there every day speaking big grammar. The security agencies will come and tell you that have neutralized 1 million bandits. They have neutralized 100,000 terrorists. Look, even if it means that the government takes it, because this is an insult. Americans call it in your face. And this is what this guy is doing. How come that somebody, a terrorist, who is in Nigeria, and you can't deploy all the security access of this country and go after him? So why won't he be so emboldened to do videos and call out people? And every day President Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes out to declare state of emergency or emergency in security. He is giving one marching order today or tomorrow. All we need to ask is that the withdrawal of police personnel from VIPs. Mm-hmm. How far have we implemented that? To what extent has that order been carried out?
The IGP said 11,000 men have returned to core policing duties.
Out of about 10,000 people who are doing that. We are also being told, at least Professor Woloshoyinka said the other day, that the security details attached to the president's son should be enough to even quell the
coup in Benin,
short-lived insurrection in Benin Republic. Who is Sheyi Tinubu?
The first son.
The first son.
Is there an office of the first son in the Constitution?
And that is why even senators are now kicking. Why remove our police protection when people, wives, children, mistresses of those in power, those who are making this thing, are all going around with security protection? What Bello Toji has done is to mock whatever claims we have as per fighting terrorism and the determination to fight terrorism. No country worth its dignity will tolerate this level of insult that we get every day. Is it so invincible?
Now, Mr. Amaechi, let's look at another angle. Some have said, let's pause and look at the message and not look at the messenger, because they say there's no smoke without a fire. Should the government pay any attention to the names that were bandied, or everything that comes out of a terrorist should be discarded?
Benga, did you need a Bello Toji to tell you that there is collusion? That the reason why is it banditry or terrorism has thrived so far is because some of these guys have protection. President Goodluck Jonathan said it. There was Boko Haram in his government. Former Minister of Defense, General T.Y. Danjuma, once said it publicly that there was a collusion in the military and that the people should defend themselves. We have ministers in President Bola Tinubu's cabinet that have been accused publicly of being bandit appeasers, that we are buying vehicles and all that.
Particularly Bello Matawale.
that have
Bello
made
Matawalle.
statements sympathetic to bandit plight.
We
bad
have
people.
we have in this country where government officials attended social functions organized by these same bandits or terrorists that they claim to be fighting. We have a list that was given to us by a foreign country, United Arab Emirates, of those who are financing terrorism in this country. What have we done with that? There are people, look, what you have to understand that this insecurity has become an industry. And that is why it's not going to go away today or tomorrow. There are people who are benefiting from the chaos that we have in the country. And that is why, no matter how hard you try, who are those who are now financing the illegal mining of gold in Zamfara? Who are those who are arming them? What is going on? Can the government claim sincerely that they don't know those behind all these atrocities?
Is it not the governor of which state now that said that he can see the terrorists on his phone, he knows where they are, and like they can get rid of them? It was Governor Dauda Lawal, you know,
Zamfara
that
Zamfara
said
State.
that they know where he knows their hideout.
So they are playing games with us. Unfortunately, Nigerians don't seem to realize that we're in a very bad place. That we're in a very bad place. And if we realize that we're in a very bad place, then the 2027 elections should be consequential. Until we take it upon ourselves to dictate what happens, until we decide that the power which lies with the people in the leadership recruitment exercise, until we exercise that power, as long as we rely on these issues that are not important to us, he's my tribesman, we are all worshiping the same church, we all face the same direction and praying to God. We'll continue to be in this mess. And the political elite, they know what the issues are. And because we don't matter in their calculations, they simply don't care. Anybody who tells you that this government cares about you, whether you are alive or dead, what has happened to the 300 school girls adopted from a school in Niger State? Have they been rescued? We are going to over 1 month. In any country,
They'll pause everything.
in any country,
No one has been fired, no resignations.
everything in this country ought to be at a standstill.
We saw what happened in Australia recently.
Until these girls
Have
are returned. Did you not hear that the school in Kebbi State, where 25 girls were adopted, 30 minutes or 45 minutes before the terrorists came, that the security distance were withdrawn?
Even though we hear that they've denied
And it was the governor, the state governor, that made
It's the allegation.
allegation. So it's not as if this is a social media, they said. Who has investigated who gave that order and why was that order given? We are all joking.